Welcome to Clash of Health. Thanks for being here today. It is January 8th, 2025, and here is the Akashic Weather Report. Hark the herald angels sing. Glory to a newborn king. Peace on earth will be had. And then truck Tukra came up. And I was like, what's Tukra again? Forgetting that it's this drink that it's like a yogurt Indian drink that's made like 1 part yogurt to 4 parts milk with some cumin in there, salt, and cilantro. Okay, so I'm going to make some tukra. It told me that maybe I'd benefit from having a little tukra after my meal. Maybe you will too. And then I saw flashes of the Earth's evolution. So I saw these like flashes of how the Earth evolved over time. And I asked, where are we now? And they said, you're on a precipice of change and you're standing on the cliff. And then the year or the time period, 5 years came through. What happens next? I ask. And so what I asked what was happening next. And have you ever seen those things like I can't really place where I've seen them, but they're almost like pop-up boxes that are attached. So you can pop them down or you can flick them up. Anyways, these pop-up lids were pushed down. What is going to happen now? And these lids were all pushed down. Snapshot. And then I heard the red zone, take care, separation from what you know, what is known. So there'll be like a separation in the next iteration, whenever that happens, of the known becomes the unknown. So we won't really understand how things are anymore with the same context as it had been in the past. Catastrophic changes will happen around the globe. Watch, don't engage. I see like a burning of something, and they said things will need to be burned down. And then heliopsis, which I didn't know what that was, and helio means sun, but heliopsis is a type of flower. It's like a sunflower, and I think it actually grows in my yard. I thought of it as like a weed, but that came through as um like a sister plant. And to continue my Ayurvedic studies were important, which is kind of comforting to know that there's a part of us when we hear all these like cataclysmic changes, like, will life go on? And I got a sense, just keep going with what you're doing, whatever's working for you and making sense, just keep going because, it may continue, but to live in the now is most important. And then I got a sense that there are different timelines for people who are receiving the same information. So in other words, maybe something that you and I have experienced over the last few years, people who've been kind of asleep are going to start to experience the same wake up that maybe we had in the past. And people in the future, we're going to receive what they had, when they were back where we were. So it's almost like we'll all catch up with one another if we end up staying on this plane of existence. And eventually we'll all be at the same place for those of us who choose to stay on some level or another. Chickweed. The herb chickweed came up. Maybe it's for you. I definitely am going to look into getting some chickweed. I think of it as a summer plant. It grows in the yard and it has like a cooling effect, but maybe I need to be cooled down because tukra and chickweed are both cooling elements. And I do have some inflammation going on in my body, so these little tidbits are super helpful. Switzerland, banking, then embargo trade. Still feels something will happen to Trump. Something will instigate this happening with him, will instigate what's going to be like a domino effect for what happens in the world, I think. And I saw him like in a tomb. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't want to throw that out there, but I did get that. I see these blackberries. I tasted them. Picking blackberries feels like my crown chakra was also tingling when I was thinking about picking blackberries. I don't know what the picking blackberries means. I don't know if that has some kind of a, you know, like a esoteric meaning that I'm not picking up on, but I could almost taste the blackberries. So maybe just going back to herbs and roots and things like that, literally our roots is where we're going to be going into. Uh, wait for the call with the council circle. Okay, so wait for the call, and I saw like the Council of Light getting bigger and bigger, like more people would be joining the so-called Council of Light. And then I was answering a telephone. It seemed like a very important telephone because the suits, as I mentioned, I think yesterday or the day before, the suits came in as I was answering the telephone. And Huguenots, be prepared for the unpreparable came through. So I'm going to read to you what I'm looking at right now in the Huguenots. So the Huguenots were a French religious group of Protestants who held to the Reform Calvinist tradition of Protestantism. And the term, which may be derived from the name of a Swiss politician leader in Geneva. And this was back in the 1400s. And then I'm going to just jump down to that St. Bartholomew's Day massacre in 1572. The Huguenot community made up as much as 10% of the French population. 25 years later, it had declined to 7 to 8%. So it sounds like about 2 to 3% were annihilated and reduced further later in the century after the return of prosecution under Louis XIV, who instituted the Dragonoids to forcibly convert Protestants and then finally revoked all Protestants' rights. So I think that this has some kind of symbolism. They were concentrated in southern and western parts of the Kingdom of France. And so that is that about the Huguenots. I'm not really sure where that plays in, but it does, I think, because everything always eventually makes sense, but not in the moment. Be prepared for the unpreparable. And I asked for advice for the listeners. This is the first time I did this. I'm like, can I have some advice for the people who are listening to this? And the advice for you is you are safe, you are helped, you are held. Just stay present to what is in front of you. And I said, well, okay, why am I putting out futuristic stuff then if they're to stay present? And it says, it's helpful for listeners. And then an apple tree grove came up. Eat wholesome foods. The Tomorrowlands haven't been forgotten, but be here now. In your body, fully present, nothing to fear, all will be well. Even if you question, truly everything has a purpose. Time ticking on a clock, and then the clock stopped. The Netherlands came up. Um, man under, I can't read my writing. I can't read my writing. Man under something. Um, administration comes through. Oh, okay. So, what's his name? I saw him, but I couldn't remember his name. And I actually took a break from getting this information. I had to go to the bathroom, and I was in the bathroom and I thought of his name, Rumsfeld. Rumsfeld came up. Donald Rumsfeld. I don't know why. Apparently he was I think he's like Secretary of Defense, something like that. He for 4 presidents. Okay, so something about Rumsfeld. Trickery, defense, Rumsfeld, catalytic changes. I thought of catacombs. Mother Mary gave a warning, but said there's a blanket of protection for those who are in the know. Okay. And then because and then I asked why, and I said, are they going to be more protected because they're more prepared? And I was told only in part. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Austria, I questioned. Warplanes overhead, warfare, Gestalt, Turkey, Istanbul. There will be hiccups in the plans. And then green paper. And I knew it had some meaning. Apparently, a green paper is a tentative government report proposal, and then there's debate and discussion on it. Next in the US, green paper question mark. Next in the US, military forces will be needed to calm down the people. Army of engineers, troops with white hats. Now, white hats mean different things. So I'm going to let you look up what white hats mean to you. Then the plant marshmallow came up, which is, it has like a mucilage action that's not unlike chickweed. So interesting. Tempers will flare. The Pope, Geneva Convention. I want to leave at this point in the message. I'm like, oh, this is enough. I'm told to stay. And then I felt like I was walking on the moon, told to hang on to your hat. Big news, so many layers of the earth. God, what do you want me to know? I asked, and he said, time will tell. Wait. That's it. That's the message for today. I'm going to let you break it down. I might put some stuff in the notes about little things that came through that might kind of be ticklers to why they came through, but I think sometimes there's no disseminating what I get until afterwards. It's just kind of holding it in the intuitive brain, which kind of helps us hopefully with our instinct and intuition as we move forward. So thanks for listening. Have a good day.